Nintendo finally released their third quarter results for this past fiscal quarter that was between October and December. So it ended December 31st for all the results you're going to see here, and it was pretty good. A lot of people were actually kind of surprised with the numbers that they put out there, well over what it was previous quarter for profits. The fiscal year so far has just pretty much crushed last fiscal year. And we did get a look at the current stock situation for the Switch, how many they have shipped, because of course Nintendo more so has a harder time keeping track of what's sold through at this time. Really what they're telling us is what they have sold to wholesalers, for example, or retailers directly, and that's the number you're going to see here today. I would say that the sell-through rate, as they have been talking about right now in their meetings where they're doing with investors with questions, seems to be around 12 million. So keep that in mind, but of course when it leaves Nintendo and they get the money for it, that's all they technically care about, unless it becomes super stagnant on shelves. Of course, that's not the case. So let's take a look at these numbers, and there's going to be one in particular I want to point out to you guys that will jump off of the screen here. So let's take a look first at the system sales. Now, Nintendo Switch hardware was at 7.24 million for this past quarter, 12.13 million for the fiscal year so far. That, of course, leaves out the launch month. If you remember that was March in the last fiscal year, so that's what we're counting here. Overall, if you add the numbers in from that March, 14.86 million Switch units life to date have shipped out of Nintendo, which is massive because, of course, this completely overshadows what the Wii U did in its entire life, and this was done in 10 months. Guys, the Switch hasn't even been out a full year. That will, of course, happen March 3rd of this year will be a full year the Nintendo Switch has been out, so there's still 2 months left for this system. This, of course, stops again December 31st. This does not count any of January and, of course, any of February because it hasn't happened yet. Now, software, if you look down from there, 25.08 million for this past quarter. That brings 47.1 million for this past fiscal year to date. And, of course, lifetime, 52.57 million in software. Now, we can't forget about the 3DS. We have to talk about the 3DS. 3 million for this past quarter. It's not bad, actually, for a system that is, of course, up against a system that Nintendo is trying to transition to with the Switch. 5.86 million for its fiscal year to date. And then, of course, if you take a look at the lifetime, it has crossed 70 million, 71.99, basically 72 million life to date. Very good for the 3DS. The 3DS had a great life, and sure, it'll probably continue in 2018, but it's very clear with 3 million for the quarter that it is kind of winding down at this point. The software, 17.43 million for the quarter, 31.25 million for the fiscal year to date, and then 360 million lifetime. They also broke it down into regions. Japan, 3.72 million Switch units. The Americas, 5.94 million, and then other, which is pretty much everywhere else in the world, 5.2 million for Switch hardware shipments worldwide life to date. Now let's move down to the games, because one is going to absolutely floor you. It floored me. I couldn't believe this when I saw this game. Take a look at these charts right here. Look at the top. Mario Odyssey, 9 million units. Guys, that game came out at the end of October, and this entire thing ends at the end of December. That means in a little over 2 months, Mario Odyssey sold over 9 million units. That eclipses the best-selling game on the Wii U in its lifetime, and that happened in 2 months. That is insane for any one game. By the way, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, look at that right behind it, 7.33 million units. That's pretty astounding as well, considering that is a port from the Wii U version that was already the best-selling game on the Wii U. Is right here behind Super Mario Odyssey. Yes, we all know Mario Kart is a popular brand. Legend of Zelda, 6.7 million units. Pretty good for Zelda overall. Splatoon 2, almost at 5 million units. The 1-2 Switch surprised me a bit here, almost at 2 million units. ARMS, while it didn't perform very, very well overall, still 1.6 million units is pretty good for a new IP that Nintendo kind of put out there. And then, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that really got a month worth of sales here, 1.06 million units. I believe that is the most that a Xenoblade game has sold, and the fact that it eclipsed 1 million units in a month is great for Xenoblade. And this all wraps up to a profit for this entire fiscal year to date of a 31.3% increase year over year from last fiscal year. That comes comes out to $1.24 billion. So Nintendo is doing well, as we're seeing here. And if you go back to the last fiscal quarter, they completely destroyed that as well. But in this case, Nintendo is doing very well. Their management and leadership currently is completely on point. Kimishima is absolutely destroying it right now. He knows what he's doing. I think that's pretty clear. And they were left with a good concept with the Switch, and he has done a very good job getting games out and pushing marketing correctly. That's the biggest thing that the Wii U really struggled with. Although Kimishima, when he did kind of come up and take control, he did say that he didn't believe in the Wii U really at all, and then just didn't see that working out. So him having the Switch and being able to push that, I think, is something he likes more. However, you would think with these type of sales, right, from what you were coming from, because you always compare yourself to your previous system. In this case, they're comparing themselves to the Wii U. It's a little unfair because the Wii U did not do well. It wasn't a good system overall, and it just got pretty much trounced at this point by the Switch. And you'd figure, okay, that the leadership with Kimishima, they're going to be really excited, really happy with these results. It seems almost the opposite. While I'm sure he's happy, he actually, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, actually told them, you know what? We could have done better. Now, this was in, again, an interview with the Wall Street Journal. They locked their stuff behind a paywall. So then Polygon picks it up, kind of summarizes it. And really, Kimishima thought, hey, we could have done better than what we did, and it seemed to be more of our supply, saying, Nintendo had said it would ensure stores were well stocked with the Switch during the gift-giving season after shortages over the summer, the Wall Street Journal reports. The situation has improved, but the company still missed some opportunities during the holidays because demand remains stronger than supply, Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima said. And this is the exact leadership that you want when you're trying to push forward, because keep in mind, this is the person who said, we are shooting for 100 million Switch units. We're not playing around here, right? He seems like the kind of guy, you look at him, he seems like the kind of guy that's there to get stuff done. And I've talked about this on Twitter. People tell me, oh, he's a temp. All right, do you want to go there and get him out of that building if you really think he's temporary at this point? I don't think anyone wants to. If you want Nintendo to succeed, you're going to leave that guy in charge, because he seems to be the person who's up there, and of course he's surrounded by people, but he's the one calling the shots. Whoever's in charge generally either gets the flack for the system not selling or the praise for it selling. But he seems like the kind of guy that walked into the office after all these reports went out and people were celebrating, and he kind of kicked over the table and told everyone to get back to work. He seems like he's there and he means business. And at this point, if he really declared, like he did, 100 million Switch units is their goal, he seems like a man on a mission right now. But man, this is big. This is Nintendo back to where they need to be, which is in a role of not dropping expectations. For example, they've actually taken their expectations of 14 million for this fiscal year, which right now is a little over 12 million. Keep in mind, we're not counting that first fiscal quarter that had 1 month of sales at 2.74. They have risen that to now to 15 million from 14 million. So they need another 2.87 million to sell to get to that point. I think they're actually going to come in about 16 million, which would put them very close to something like 19 million Switch units sold through, and at least shipped in its first year. And that is tremendous for the Switch. That, of course, as we've seen on Twitter, Daniel Ahmed posted a picture showing that the Switch is currently outpacing everything. Like, hey, they didn't put the Xbox One on there because Microsoft doesn't report numbers, but it's currently outpacing the Wii and the PS4 as we're seeing right now. So the Switch is on a good trajectory. It's all about the second year. Again, Kimishima has said it himself. The second year is extremely important, and they have said new ways to play outside of Labo at this point are also coming. I'm not really sure what that means, but they have talked about in their investors briefing that I'm keeping on now, that the demand for Labo, when it comes to people trying it out, is massive. Like, they just don't have the spots right now. Remember how they said if you're a parent and you have a kid who wants to check it out, you can go and test it out? Massive. Everyone wants to try it. So they're going to do some more stuff apparently, but I think he at least understands the games need to be there, and I think he's going to do whatever he can, because if we take a look at the PDF that they put out to investors alongside these numbers, you're going to look down, you're going to notice really one thing here. Pokemon is 2018 or later, which tells me, because they took Metroid, right? They made that TBA, so to be announced, and they put Bayonetta as TBA as well. That tells me that they do want Pokemon in 2018, or at least they want their investors to think Pokemon is coming in 2018. That is a game changer, by the way. If Pokemon comes out in 2018, they will hit expectations easily, and they will pretty much, I don't even know how many they'll sell. That's how big of a deal Pokemon is jumping to the Switch. It is that much of a game changer. So I think they are trying to get Pokemon out in 2018. I think the fact that this PDF is showing a TBA announce date for the others, but 2018 for Pokemon or later, I think they absolutely are trying to get this thing out just to really push their systems, because games do it and they know that, and that's what they're trying to do here with Pokemon. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about everything we just went over here with the numbers. I can't believe Mario Odyssey has like a 60-something% attach rate. Yeah, just over 60% with 9 million. It is absolutely insane. 9 million Mario Odysseys in 2 months, a little over 2 months. That is insane. By the way, that outsold Battlefront 2 by a good bit, because they, of course, reported the wrong number. It's actually 7 million that they sold. So Mario Odyssey absolutely just destroyed Battlefront 2, a game that should have sold more. But of course, EA being EA. But Mario Odyssey completely blows that game out of the water. It's absolutely insane. Either way, guys, let me know what you think about what we've talked about here with the numbers and the game sales and really the profits Nintendo is getting here. And then Kimishima's attitude, because he seems like the person who is not taking any of this for granted. He seems to want more. And that's what you want at a leadership position. So I am very happy with what he's doing. And I think right now they have the correct management for the system they're trying to push. I think Kimishima absolutely gets it. And I think he is there to push people along. But let me know what you think about all of that, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for Newswave.